Welcome to the Entrepreneur Show. This is your host, Michael Mara. I'm the CEO and founder of Entre, a social network for entrepreneurs, investors, and freelancers. On this show, we interview the top CEOs, venture capitalists, angel investors, and founders. Connect with me and thousands of other like-minded people by signing up for free at joinentre.com or download our mobile app on iOS and Android. Today's episode is with none other than David Meltzer. He's the co-founder of Sports One Marketing and former CEO of Leigh Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency, which was the inspiration for the movie Jerry Maguire. He's on a mission to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. He's a 3-time international best-selling author, a top 100 business coach. He's the executive producer of Entrepreneur Magazine's show, Elevator Pitch, and host of the podcast, The Playbook. He's a humanitarian, he's an amazing entrepreneur, he's a mentor of mine, and there's no one I'd rather discuss entrepreneurship with than David Meltzer. Hope you enjoy the episode. And yeah, let's jump into it. So I'm super pumped about this. I mean, I've been waiting a long time. I got Dave's first book right here behind me, Connected to Goodness. So if you guys haven't checked this out, it's an excellent book. It gives a great perspective on just like not just business, but just, you know, how to do business in the right way and connecting to the best part of yourself as well. So, Dave, I'm going to let you jump into things. I know you've been doing a lot of stuff over these last few weeks, helping people, mentoring people. You're a business coach, you're a speaker, you've been an entrepreneur pretty much for the last however long you've been an entrepreneur, investor, everything, influencer, you name it, you've done it. You have wealth of knowledge. And, you know, I think everyone here is excited to hear your thoughts on, you know, kind of where we're at right now, current situation, how people can still generate revenue, how people can build an online brand, or digital presence during this time, because that's a huge opportunity that we're in right now for people to do this. So I'll let you jump into things. Feel free to, I'm going to kind of like take myself off to give you the full screen, and I'll come back up if there's any other questions or if people have questions, and we can give you the floor for the time being. And super excited about this.
Right on. I'll go ahead and flow for 10 or 15 minutes and then hopefully generate some interest and curiosity. You know, I've been through similar circumstances, but nothing like this. And, you know, living through 93, 97, 2001, 2008. When I say I've lived through situations like this, it's situations of compressed uncertainty. What makes people anxious is uncertainty. What makes people uncertain is the future. And when things change quickly, and nobody likes change except for a wet baby, when things change quickly, we compress uncertainty, and a lot of people create more interference, voids, and shortages to what they want, instead of understanding that there's huge opportunities that lie within the context of what's happening, as long as we focus in on a few things. One, cash and culture. This is an opportunity to understand your cash. There's so many businesses I know right now that are gross revenue down, but profit up. There's many companies now that are understanding the millions of dollars that they wasted, and as much as they've lost in the last few weeks and may lose over the next few months, they will regain it from the knowledge that they've acquired. So cash is important because the heartbeat of your company is cash. And so if you think you're doing a favor by paying your employees because they need it and you're going to go out of business, that's a bad decision. Those employees will hate you when you go out of business anyway. So you might as well let the government and the taxes that you paid support them as you keep your business in business so that you can have a fresh start. This is not a time to rebuild. You don't have to rebuild anything. This is a time to take inventory on what you have. And the number one thing you should be taking inventory is your culture. What are your values, your personal values, your experiential values, your giving values, and receiving values? If you aren't taking inventory at least every day, you're making a big mistake, because don't look at this time as far as it's time to rebuild and adjust, et cetera. No. I take it like when I graduated college and looked at my buddies, I'm like, man, imagine if we could go back to school right now. knowing what we know, right? Imagine how cool that would be. Go back to college and redo it one time, knowing what you know after you graduate. That's exactly what you're about to do. This is a time that you can get ahead or catch up. This is a time to look at everything and take inventory of everything. Be your own chief betterment officer. Look to see how you can make everything better. All of these things are pushing to something better. It is forcing us to change, but change for the better if you take inventory of your cash and your culture. Now, how do we deal with the uncertainty? Well, I always say focus in on what you want. So if you focus in on what you want, you can focus in on what you can be certain about, what you have control over. There's 4 things that you have control over no matter what the circumstances are. Number 1, your mindset. So if you're not practicing mindset, you're making a big mistake. You have control of your mindset. I use a Meltzer kaleidoscope, a lens of productivity. How productive, how much value can I provide to others? A lens of accessibility. How accessible am I to others, and how am I accessing what I want? How am I receiving? And then also a lens of gratitude. How am I learning to love everything about what I'm doing? Now, listen to me. I've been told all my life that I've loved what I've done. I've been so lucky because I love what I do. I have only loved a portion of what I've done, right? Only loved a little bit of it. I learned to love the rest. So, and I've been surrounded by professional athletes when I ran Leigh Steinberg Sports Entertainment and Sports One Marketing and all the great things I get to do. But all the greats, all the people that I was jealous of when I was a young man, wanting to have a job, if I only could be the president of a team, if I only could play shortstop for the Padres, if I only could do this, what I've learned about all of those things is none of them love what they do. They love a portion what they do, and they learn to love the rest. And that's what you want to do here with your mindset. Love what you can right now. Like everyone loves spending more time. Well, almost everyone. Almost everyone loves spending more time with their kids, right? Learn to love the rest. Everyone loves being at home more often, not having to commute. There's tons of stuff to love. Learn to love the rest. The second thing that we have control over is what we hear and what we say. It's really important in times of certainty that you're not inundated with a bunch of negative energy. I always say, surround yourself with the right people, the right ideas. Show me your friends, they'll show you your future. I see too many people today becoming paralyzed and inundating themselves with negative energy, corrosion and obstruction to what they want without taking control. Seek what you want to hear. Seek what you want to say. Pay attention plus intention for the coincidences that you want in your life. So go ahead. I have some stable data that I want every day. And at 5:15 Pacific time every day, I Google about 6 different things to find out the stable data that I want. But you won't see the news just constantly pouring negative energy onto me in any way. I'm not going to be inundated with things I don't want. I'm going to seek what I want, and I'm going to get it. I'm going to rapidly and accurately do it because I have control in what I hear, and I have control of what I say. The next thing I have control is my feelings. Happiness. That's what I seek. I seek to feel happy. That's all I seek. So if it doesn't make me happy, I figure out how can it make me happy. And I do that because happiness is my main mission in life. I'm trying to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, create a collective consciousness of happiness. Happiness creates abundance. Happiness creates a person that makes a lot of money, helps a lot of people, and has a lot of fun. Happiness is the most viral disease ever. It is so viral that you can become happy just by witnessing it. And the cool thing about happiness, it actually will strengthen your immune system. The fourth thing that you have control over is your actions. And so I want to be as productive, accessible, and gracious as I can by studying, paying attention, and putting in attention to everything that I have planned, everything I don't have planned, and even my sleep. I put basic construct to my day by studying, paying attention, and putting in intention for the coincidences I want into everything that I have planned. I am taking inventory of what I have so I can have a fresh start with the 4 things that I am in control of. And so these are the methodologies. Now, one last thing, and then I'm going to take some Q&A. People are sitting at home and wondering, how can I make money? I lost my job. Look, let me give you some simple advice. Go ahead, look at the stock market in the morning and go ahead and do a search and find the 50 best performing stocks. Look for the capabilities that you have that are synergistic or supplementary to the 50 companies that are doing the best right now, and you will discover how you can make some money. Look at the 50 stocks that have maintained or sustained the best over the last 6 months, even through this uncertainty. You then look for the supplementary and synergistic capabilities that you have, and you now can create sustainability within the context of making money. And then finally, a lot of you are in a position that is more stable. And so you want to go ahead and look at the stocks that 50 companies and industries that have just got crushed. And then you want to go seek mentorship and go ahead and find the expert in the industry in which you want to invest, or the capabilities that you have that are synergistic or supplementary, and ask those people when it's oversold, and go ahead and apply yourself to that, either economically or situationally or energy wise, whatever it may be. You want to take advantage of those, because the pendulum always swings too far. And if you can have the right mentorship, people who have experienced 93, 97, 2001, 2008, or even beyond. Remember, more millionaires were made in the Depression than any other time, because people took advantage of understanding where opportunities exist. And don't be guilty about making money right now, right? Feel guilty if you don't spend that money correctly, if you don't shop for the right things, if you don't utilize it with appreciation to help other people. But you should. There's 3 worlds: just enough, not enough, and more than enough. Right? Those that live in the world of not enough will always be victims. This is all happening to you. You will live in blame, shame, and justification for the next 20 years, about 2020. Then there's some of you that live in the world, it's a filled world of just for you. And you'll make money and you'll end up being empty, because this is just for you. But if you can live in a world of more than enough, making room for what you want so it comes through you with appreciation for others, you will be fulfilled, not filled. And you will create abundance for yourself. You will live in a world of more than enough for everyone and everything, and you will find and make it through this time of uncertainty, as you will other future times of uncertainty, by making a lot of money and helping a lot of people and having a lot of fun. Go ahead, be pragmatic about what you're doing. Look at the capabilities that you have. Find the synergistic and supplementary things that you can do to make money today and in the future. There's plenty of opportunity right now. The 3 things that you need is develop those skills, acquire the knowledge, especially through mentorship, and have a desire to must be what you can be. And I promise you, you will be successful. All right. That's about as much time as they gave me to speak. I'm really interested in Q&A.
All right. Thanks, Dave. That was awesome. Yeah. So everyone, I have a question myself for you before. Just so everyone knows, we are going to ask questions, and we're going to do Q&A right now. So gear up your questions. I have one real quick. So as this all has happened, you've noticed, and you have yourself done a lot of more online Instagram lives, all sorts of stuff, free trainings. You've been promoting yourself, and I'm sure you've gotten a lot of traction through your social channels in these last couple of months. I'd like, if you can, to maybe share even a couple pieces of advice or strategies for people on just the online game right now in and of itself, and why people should be jumping on this opportunity, since everyone is kind of stuck in the digital world almost, and how much you're leveraging that to then propel you through this time. Because after this is up, you're building so many fans right now, and you're building such a big following right now. And I know it because I see it every day, what's happening. And as things get better, you're gonna have accumulated this whole following. So if you can real quick dive into maybe some strategies, advice on building that or doing that, and maybe taking some from what you have done and what's worked over the last couple of weeks for yourself.
Sure. And I started 3 years ago, met a great guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, who told me that I should put consistent quality content out. And for me, what that meant was come up with as many lessons that I can help people with, and tell stories so that they could understand the strength of my signal, of my passion, of my frequency, of my vibration, pick the right spectrum. Don't try to tell stories and lessons to everyone. There is a bandwidth. I'm not an 87 percenter. Like everybody, if you wonder why Tiger King is so popular, or the Kardashians are so popular, because it's for the masses, right? Everybody wants to watch a train wreck. I want you to avoid a train wreck. And so I'm talking not to the masses, but I'm trying to have a strong signal with lessons and stories, a specific spectrum of people who want to accelerate and improve, that want to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of their potential, people who want to be happy, the certain percentage that are willing to not only do the work, but have the potential to do extraordinary things and understand what their potential is and are consistently trying to improve. Progress, not perfection. I'm looking for, the perpetuation of that content. So this started long before the times of uncertainty, but the last 3 weeks, and I think a lot of the people who helped me build my brand before this all happened, like these unbelievable group of guys, it's amazing, right? I leaned in and I said, I'm going to capture more content. I'm going to modify more content. I'm going to amplify more content. I'm going to perpetuate more content at my frequency with the same signal I've been giving, with the same spectrum I've been trying to reach, with as clear as a message that I can. But I'm going to lean in because I know that quality content consistency will last before, during, and after. And the opportunity that lies for everyone is that it's a matter of math. And this is the one thing I told Gary when I met him. He said, well, what are you doing this for? Right? He was very much, pragmatic Gary. What are you doing it for? Why do you want to do this? And I said, because I want to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. And I think I have a strong message and lessons through my journey to teach. And so how are you going to get there? I said, 2 people at a time. I am Noah of the digital space. I'm the old guy in the ark. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, well, if I can just get 2 people a year to really hit that strength of signal spectrum and clear message to tell people and empower them to tell 2 people a year, that, I'm 50 now. When I'm 70, I'll have 2 million people telling 2 million, and the numbers just get extraordinary from there. Now, that was a conservative plan. I'm leaning in, and I'm already getting there. And the last 3 weeks have accelerated me at least 3 years beyond what has happened or what I could imagine. I'm leaning in. When everyone else runs away, I lean in. When everyone else is, buying, I'm selling. It's just math and logic to me. And so if you are a brand, or you represent brands, or you want to build your frequency, don't try to get millions and millions of people in the next, 3 months. Go ahead. What you really want to do is start the process of building your lessons and stories, capturing it, practicing capturing it, practice modifying it, practice amplifying it on the appropriate platforms that are aligned with the strength of your signal, the spectrum, and the clear message that you have, and also create a strategy to perpetuate your content. Part of my success is that a lot of my content was perpetual. It's been out there and it's applicable to today. Right? Inspired speech about happiness, about pragmatic ways to make money, help people have fun, how to rebuild and restart or a new start. That's all. Look, I lost so much money in 2008. I branded myself with humility to tell people, look, I made it through, but I'm happy. I was happy before, during, and after. Here's the lessons that I learned, and I don't want you to have to pay the dummy tax. So build your brand. Go ahead. I talk about a lot of this on Fridays in my trainings too. So they'll post that 11 a.m. Pacific time Fridays, free training for everyone, how to build your brand, how to monetize it for you or your clients, leaning in, how to be happy, how to make more money, help more people have more fun. Hopefully that was helpful for everyone building a brand, but lean in. This is your time. Double, triple it up.
I love that. Yeah, it's huge. And I think right now it's a really important time for that, and for people to take this opportunity. So we have a couple questions here that I think are really relevant, and kind of you kind of alluded to this earlier about mentors and everything. So we have a question from Sully. What's the best way to find mentors, and what would be your outreach strategy? Have you had, do you have advice for that?
Yeah, I have a minimum of 3 mentors at all time in my life. I do a lot of due diligence. I'm more interested than interesting to find people that sit in a situation that I want to be in. For example, I didn't know who Gary Vaynerchuk was. I met him 3 Super Bowls ago because I was looking for the person that knew how to digitally grow a brand, and I went right to the top. I purposely sought him out, and then I asked for help. I was straightforward, but I didn't just say, "Hey, Gary." What I did was I did all the research, found out that they were building a sports agency, saw that my capabilities were synergistic and supplementary to what his brother was doing. I know how people feel about brothers, so I offered my services to help their sports agency because I ran the most notable sports agency in the world. Then I said to Gary, "Dude, can you help me? I'm looking to build a brand. Am I too old? Am I too stupid? What should I do?" And we've been really close, sharing ideas. He is extremely abundant and gracious with his help. That's why he publishes that. He's like the St. Jude Hospital of digital media, man. He'll publish and help everyone, and he's taught me to do the same, which is why I give my books for free. I pay for shipping. I give away all my advice, my trainings, everything I can for free. The same as Gary as well. So go ahead, find 3 mentors that sit in. Look, don't think that someone has to be the overarching mentor. Like my mom is still my parenting mentor, right? She's an extraordinary, but she is so bad at business. I don't ever ask her one business. She thought the internet was going to be a fad. Trust me. But so find 3 people, and don't be afraid. Someone asked me a day, like, how am I going to ask, like Steve Wynn or some of these guys that, look, make yourself equal, then make yourself different. So find something to connect emotionally to. If you're talking to Eddie DeBartolo and you want help from him, talk about football. He loves football. If you're talking to a rocket scientist, talk about Mars or aliens or something that you can find out. And the best way to find out what someone's emotionally attached to is ask them, what do you like about it? And what don't you like about it? Once you get them to express what they like and don't like, you get an emotional attachment. Then you can ask for help, and then you can see how you can be of service as well.
Yeah, that's huge. I love it. I mean, it's been you've been a great mentor for me, and working and collaborating on these events and stuff together, and it's huge. I mean, just even if you can't even be in the same room as the highest people at the top, you can still follow them now also on social and watch their videos. Like, you might not, Dave is literally one of the most accessible people I've ever met in my whole life at the level that he's at. And he's intentional about that. But other people at his level and everything too, they might not be as accessible as Dave, but you can still watch their videos. You could still listen to their podcast and get their knowledge and information in that way as well.
Can I interject too? Look, you can be aggressive too. Like there's a kid, Josh Ork, right? Like he started this fitness company, and they have like fastest growing franchise until the COVID. But he would send, and he made the investment, but I thought it was genius. He would send a 18-wheeler tire. He FedExed me one, Ed Milet one, Gary one. And that's how he got mentorship. That's how he got on our podcast. He's like, you think I'll leave treads on you or whatever? Look, like 10 grand, but for that 10 grand, I think he got on the top 10 podcasts in the world, and he has relationships with the top 10 mentors. 10 grand's nothing to have access to people. So you don't have to, just keep sending the same email every day. Be creative. I used to go to charitable events on purpose where there was somebody I wanted to meet and volunteer or donate, so I could go ahead and have an emotional connection to someone and say, oh, you're on the board? Oh, I love this charity. But I was very intentional going to that charitable event because I might as well, if I'm going to give money for charity, I might as well create more abundance for me, knowing that, how much money it would cost. I got to sit with at the Hall of Fame Foundation for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Warren Buffett. Do you know what people paid to sit with Warren Buffett? And I got to ask him, and I wasn't joking. I was like, Warren, if I give you an industry, will you tell me when it's oversold? That was the only question I asked him. I gave him my email address. Right? Think about how much money that's worth.
Well, he auctions off a dinner with him every year, and it's like
$2 million.
I forget how it's tens of millions of dollars to have a dinner with him. So that's hilarious. So that's a great story. Fantastic. All right. We have another question here from AB, maybe Abe. Hopefully not Antonio Brown, or maybe it is Antonio Brown. Who knows?
I hope so.
What is your advice on finding the right people to join my team for an app I'm starting? So It seems like he's building a tech company.
So I hire by values. You look at resumes, you narrow down the pile by skills, look for the skills and knowledge that it looks as people need to have the job. But for me, I hire off of 4 values because I can't teach them and I know we'll be aligned if we have the same values. So first, I test an interview for gratitude, because if they have a gracious perspective, their past is better, their present's even better than that, their future's brighter. They're just going to be such a positive, productive, accessible person. 2, forgiveness, because I want to make a ton of mistakes. I want them to make a ton of mistakes. Forgiving people, forgive themselves, and forgive others, and they expand and accelerate more than anyone else. A big one is accountability. I hire for accountability. So I look to see, I'll ask somebody, what's the worst thing that ever happened to you? And then they'll explain. I'll say, whose fault was it? And the people that say mine, right, I give serious look at. If they go deep into blame, shame, and justification, not going to get hired by me, because I know where that's going really fast. And then finally, I look for the inspired, not the motivated. So let me explain the difference. Motivation is short term. Motivation can be caused by fear, because fear causes focus. Focus is what causes motivation. When we get hyper focused, we get very motivated, but it doesn't last. Fear and focus, they're actually a soul sucker. They'll suck the energy. They'll create more interference and corrosion to that great source of light, love, and lessons and power that you're created to. I look for people that throughout their lives are practicing inspiration, right? They're inspired. They're in spirit. These are the people that you talk to and you can see they glow, that they're really tan usually. No kidding. They have an aura about them. They're inspired. They're in spirit. Not only are they have a clearer connection, and they're the people that you call lucky. They're the people that fall into the gutter and come out smelling like roses. They just have these stories about them. A touch of favor is always upon them, but they also are giving that to others. And they have the stories during the interview process to share with you the inspiration, the connection of not only of where they're drawing their power and source and light and love and lessons, but how they're giving their light, lessons, and love to others. And so if you look at gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration, you'll find no matter what business you are in, those people that also have the skills and knowledge, you have that intangible desire to be what you must be.
Fantastic. How have you, you've built tech companies and stuff before as well. Do you have any recommendations on building out apps and websites, things like that? Because there's a lot of different strategies. You can spend time trying to find a technical co-founder. You can try to learn how to code and build it yourself, or an MVP yourself. You could hire an agency. You could hire a freelancer. Do you have any insights onto what you think and what you've seen has worked the best from that standpoint?
Yeah, it's a matter of money, right? So it's the best use of your money. Some people have, I don't believe in sacrifice. I believe in investment in yourself. And so you have to look at the dollars and what gives you the best results. There's some companies I've been involved with that have, literally raised $100 million. Now, they're not going to develop themselves. There's other people, I got 2 kids from UCLA developing an application right now and a platform right now, and they're doing everything themselves. So look, everything to me is number 1, the credibility of who I'm working with. 2, that emotional attachment. 3, can I quantify the best reasons that I'll go forward with this, the impact it's going to have on my business, and the capabilities that each of those different opportunities have for me. And then I can make a math decision. And that math is which one has the strongest business case to see why I wouldn't move forward in this direction. So I try to apply math and money to as much as I can. All my business I do, like especially my top executive coaching that I do, I only work month to month and I guarantee profitability. So each individual month is its own business, and I mitigate all risk with anyone that works with me as a business advisor, a business coach. I only want to take money from people that I've made more money from, and I want to guarantee it. And I do the same thing when I spend my money on employees. I tell them all the time, look, it's a bottom line thing. I want to see performance that's profitable. There's subjective value in everything. I'm going to repeat that. There's subjective value in everything, including introductions. I love people that, are buying introductions, call themselves networkers and connections or whatever. I'm like, look, I don't want introductions that are going to result in hugs, especially today. I can't hug anybody. I want introductions that are going to result in money. I look to the quantitative value in things, not the subjective value. Do so whenever you're looking for employees, outsourced help, do it yourself, whatever it may be. There's math that you can apply to it.
I love that. Yeah, I think especially building out technology, it really is a financial decision because some of this stuff costs so much, especially if you want to hire top talent to do it. But I love that advice, and anyone building out tech company and stuff, it's an interesting perspective on things that I think is really important as well. And yeah, I mean,
my computer's gonna dive in on interviews.
All good.
See the clothes behind me? I'm not lying. I'm in the Dave Meltzer's in the closet, not out of the closet.
It's great.
All right.
Let me cue up this next question here. How we got it from Alex Falcone. How can I keep myself motivated at work when I'm constantly thinking about how the coronavirus is going to affect my business and life going forward?
Yeah, if you're a race car driver and you're focusing on the wall, you're going to hit the wall. What you're doing, you're focusing on the wall, my brother. Look, if your activity you're getting paid for, focus in on the activity that you're getting paid for. If you're worried about the coronavirus, then go ahead and put down the things that you're worried about with the coronavirus and go ahead and look it up, seek it at the end of the day. Seek it at the morning. I don't care, but don't be inundated by a thought and start dwelling. What you resist persists. What you focus in on, you're going to hit. Right? What you pay attention to and give intention to, those are the coincidences that are going to happen in your life. Right? I don't get sick because that's what I focus in on, pure health. I had Wim Hof on my Playbook, my podcast, and talk about, mental toughness, mindset, meditation, breathing, cold therapy, all the things that he does is just to effectuate not hitting the wall. You actually can inject lethal viruses into Wim Hof utilizing the Hof method. It doesn't even affect him. This is possible in every human being. But what we don't want to do is focus in on what we don't want. If you are home and you're focusing in on, how annoying your kids are or how much of a nag your wife is, you're going to have a nagging wife and annoying kids. If you focused in how blessed you are to have such unbelievable kids and such a queen as a wife, you're going to have unbelievable kids and a queen as a wife. It doesn't matter what the effect is. I would never focus in on that virus. You want to focus in on a virus? Focus in on my virus. Help me come to my training on Friday. Come help me empower over 1 billion people on earth to be happy. Happiness is the best virus. It spreads just by witnessing it. It strengthens your immune system. Why would you focus in on the COVID when you could focus on the David? That's right. Happiness. Let's do this. It's really simple.
I love it. The David. That's a great tagline. That's awesome. Yeah, and I know this is what aligned when we first met. This is why I aligned so much with you, because you understand the energy in the world that is intention, right? And attention. If you put your attention on something, it summons that thing. So and that's why I love this advice, and why for me too, and throughout this whole thing, I mean, right now our business up to this point has been mostly events. Now we have a larger vision for what we're creating and building, but up to this point for the last 2 years, our business has been in-person events. Well, that shifted that. And what we did was we transitioned to virtual, right? And yeah, it was crazy process and whatever else, but we focused on that. I did not focus at all on the virus and all this other stuff. There's always opportunity. There's always another avenue to go. There's always a pivot to make. I know you're a big fan of pivoting and going through different, avenues and whatnot. I think the people that are going to survive and thrive right now are the people who can pivot, who can adjust, and who can, kind of wiggle their way to stay alive and continue to build on this. And I think if you can adapt, you can really grow right now.
Right. And you nailed it. It's not just the law of attraction, though. I know you and I both believe in the law of attraction, that we summons things. But, John Astroff and I got together today online or last night online, and he's the king of the law of Goya. So I think you need a blend, just like I blend currency of money with the currency of faith. I blend that law of attraction, that woo-woo spiritual, what you focus in on, attention plus intention equals the coincidence. But I am like a little mule. Like you said, I don't quit. I just evolve. People call it pivot. I'm constantly evolving, and I want to maximize the number of options that I have because it makes me a genius. Maximizing your options and opportunities makes you a genius. So I believe in the law of Goya, right? The law of Goya is get off your ass. And I also believe, you've heard of FOMO. I believe in JOMO, right? The joy of missing out, right? I find the love and lessons in life and everything. So don't have FOMO, and don't, literally don't sit on your ass feeling sorry for yourself. Don't be a why me, be a try me, and go out there and try new things. Look, if you're investing, I can tell you this from personal experience, $20 million and you invest in 10 companies, $2 million each, 9 of them fail. The one of them goes to $100 million and you net $80 million. Everybody thinks you're a goddamn genius. It ain't no genius. I just got more opportunities and more options. The same thing holds true now. So utilize the law of attraction combined with the law of Goya. Remember your JOMO, put all of those adjectives and acronyms together, follow David, and we're all going to be happy at the end of this by making a lot of money, helping a lot of people, and having a lot of fun.
Yes. I love it. That's you summarized that perfectly. And I threw in the comments evolve because it's so powerful. Okay, let's get into our next question here. What industries will suffer the most from the coronavirus outbreak, and how do you find the opportunities that are out there?
So determinative upon when massive groups can get together will have a big effect on who's going to be hurt, right? If we can go back to filling up stadiums, arenas in a month, then different people will be hurt. But if, and it's been said, unless, if the quarantine doesn't work and rebirth, and imagine if it was years, what effect that's going to have with mass groups of people not getting together. So determinative upon what happens here, anything where you have massive amount of people together, I think are at the most risk, because in the end, the last stability that we have is, 100,000 people or 1 million people being able to gather again together. I think in a short amount of time, people will go 10 people, then 30, then 50 back to work. But there's so much risk with that mass exposure that's where I see any businesses that are related directly to the mass gatherings are going to be affected the most. I don't think, even, travel, one area that I love is gambling. Because, and I'll tell you why. I study history to learn human nature. I've studied history for a long time, not just, historic fact, religious history, because I want to learn human nature because it never changes. 2 professions have always been successful throughout time. One of them I don't touch. The other has got crushed right now. And it's also the same industry that they passed and legalized 20 states. This is the last time we got together in New York with Wayne Kimmel, right? 20 states passed legalized gambling in 18 months. And it's the oldest profession, right? The other one I'm not touching, but this one I'm touching. You don't think it's going to make a comeback? Yeah. Read history. It may transform and evolve, but people have an innate luck in them, and they want to invest in that type of entertainment. And I think there's so much huge opportunity for the future in gambling,
For sure.
in casinos, in sports gambling. But, just be careful of, putting right now any type of stability in massive gathering businesses, because I think it's most at risk and also most uncertain of all things right now.
Yeah. I mean, when we had the sports event in New York that we did around, the future of sports and everything, I think the gambling and esports industry, online gambling, is huge. And I think right now, I'm sure obviously gambling's taking a little bit of a hit, but everyone's getting, they're still getting people virtually, right? There's still some things going on, and they're still able to gamble online now. So they're actually setting up the whole online gambling like right now and getting people used to that, so that when things get back to normal, it's going to be like wildfire.
Yeah. Thank God for poker and horses.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, thank you for that. That was great. We have a question here from Joe. What's your most recent change to your social media strategy since all this has happened? Have you changed anything, or have you just kind of doubled down and did you've been doing, just more?
So I learn lessons of the ego all the time. So I've changed the platforms that I used, is a really big one. So I found some really good platforms that allow me to interact with people in a much more effective way. I've also lowered my ego about doing interviews via, everything I used to do was live for the Playbook. I'm blessed to have a top entrepreneur podcast that just grows and grows. But I always thought it was because I went live. I'm so much more accessible, and the guests are so much more accessible by utilizing, this platform in order to do those interviews. I also just interacting and, really taking the time to take inventory. Facebook is an area that, I had been suggested not to play that much in, and I'm really going hard into that platform. So that's another change. Experimenting with TikTok to see if a middle-aged mutant turtle like me can address. One thing about TikTok that's interesting, it is a young audience, but, they got 2 billion people. And my philosophy is, let's say that 10% of the people on TikTok are people that are interested in my inspirational, like do things now because 100% of the things you do now get done, stuff like that. 10% of 2 billion is still a lot of people. So yeah. I know that, I can't dance very well. I'm not very good at lip syncing. You don't want to see me with my shirt off unless you like bears. So, literally there's still a genre within that context to go ahead and throw up some 8-second videos and see how they do to build your brand.
Yeah. TikTok, I mean, it's the new thing right now. Right. And yeah, I mean, we're on there. We're trying things out too. Like with our content, it doesn't really fit that well with TikTok either. But we did, like, we posted a video.
Jesse loves my TikTok. It says right there. It works. See?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's funny. Our best video to date on TikTok is actually a video that we had of you at one of our events. It was the one where you were selling the pen for $1 million.
Yeah.
That got like 35,000 views or something. That's been like our best one to date. So it's kind of funny how things happen.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, people, you're still loved on TikTok. I mean, it's clear. So yeah, it's funny. I think it's there's no reason not to be everywhere, right? If you're putting out content, there's no if one person sees you on TikTok, like, that never knew about you before.
2 people a year, 2 people a year getting you 2 people a year equals 2 million in 20 years.
Because the content,
2 people
needed. Right. Yeah.
You're good. Yeah. All right.
That's crazy.
Refocus.
Yeah.
Oh. They drop or me drop? Hi, everybody. I think I'm still live. Is that me or them? Oh, sweet. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go. What he's saying is so true. Like I have that Noah's Ark philosophy, 2 gets 2 gets 2 gets 2. But if you create quality content and then capture it, modify it into all the different formats, it just takes a little bit of extra time. And so I build off of one piece of content into that direction. And whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, there's always things that you can do. And then some of them have such short, easy things to do that you can go ahead and add and supplement. Gary gave me that great piece of advice, like I said before, as much consistent content as you can, the highest quality. One thing to reiterate too, is they're going in and out. Don't be afraid to really focus in on quality content. He joked around that my TikTok was the best that they ever have. It's because the majority of my time is a Disney philosophy, right? I take a little bit of extra time to be more interested than interesting, but there's a reason that the black and white mouse from the 1940s, a whistling mouse, Steamboat Willie, is still now the #1 YouTube Mickey Mouse Club house, 400 million views or whatever it has, because Walt Disney always wanted quality content. He stuck to his frequency. He had a strong signal. He had a certain spectrum, a family spectrum, which he still sticks to today. Disney sticks to the family. And guess what? Not everyone's family oriented, right? We all know the sites that kill it. The Kardashians aren't Tiger King. But Walt Disney sticks to a strong signal with the spectrum of family, with a very clear message, and has since the 40s. And that's why when you say entertainment, Walt Disney is the icon for entertainment, the same as Einstein is the icon for genius. So just go ahead, stick to your quality content, and be consistent with it.
Great advice. I think I'm back now.
Yeah, you're back.
I came in there, and I wanted you to keep going, so I'm not sure what happened. I think we're good now, though. But I love that. I think that that's so true. And another reason why, what I loved about like how you just approached everything was you've been so genuine the whole time and authentic, and you're just real. Like you're just a real dude, and you're down to earth, and at the same time performing at such a high level. So when I see that, it just inspires me to do the same and to help, as many people as I can. And obviously our network and everything is geared towards helping as many entrepreneurs as possible and helping people become entrepreneurs as possible. But I love that. It looks like Solly dropped in the TikTok link for us too to the videos. So everyone can check that out as well. But let's continue here with the Q&A. Yeah. So we have a question here from Patricia. Did you ever put the horse before the cart from lack of experience in a new space or like trying something new?
Yeah. So all the time, I still do. Ego is an important practice of mine. So number one, when you put the cart before the horse or vice versa, it's usually that your ego is in your way. And so the first step of understanding the practice of ending ego or practice of ending fear, and it will be a continual lifelong practice. Every single day, my ego gets in my way. And I put the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart because I have a need to be right. I have a need to be offended, a need to be regretful, guilty, angry, frustrated, anxious, scared, separate, inferior, and superior. I got into a heated discussion over my new logo for my podcast, and both the head of my media and I, who are well-trained and versed in putting the cart before the horse, basically in symbiosis said, "Oh, I'm sorry, man, my ego." And he said, "No, your ego's in the way." I'm like, "Your ego, yeah, we're both right." So I think the idea, Patricia, is that there's no timing to anything because time is one. Where we see the separation, and that's what the cart before the horse is it's a separation, is actually understanding that where's my ego, right? Separating, where's my ego creating interference or corrosion to the most powerful source, that lesson that I'm supposed to learn. Remember, if you have pain in your life, especially right now, if you have mental pain, physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain, All that is telling you is that you have a lesson to learn. It'll go away when you learn the lesson. It'll go away. We can't learn all the lessons. So, like some of these health issues are literally, there's an answer out there. We just haven't learned the lesson. And some of the people like Wim Hof have greater knowledge and awareness about lessons about staying healthy, Joe DeSena and like other people than others. And so if you have physical pain, then try to look and say, what did I do to attract this to myself? What am I supposed to learn from it? Because in essence, we're all connected to this unbelievable source of energy. Our actions, our embodiment and our actions, we're either, what are we doing to interfere with that? Are we drinking too much? Are we not exercising enough? Are we eating the wrong foods? Are we have the wrong mindset? Are we listening to the wrong things? Are we saying the wrong things? Are we thinking the wrong things? Are we doing the wrong things? Are we believing the wrong things? Do we surround ourselves with the wrong ideas? Right? All these different things. These are what create the interference we're already whole, right? We're creating the interference and it's resulting in lessons unanswered, which we call pain.
That's fantastic. I love that. We have a couple more questions here. We're getting close to the time. So if you guys have any more questions, now's the time to ask Dave. We have another one here from Lee. I want to build a business/design agency helping poor people, but I don't have a solid idea. What suggestions do you have to start it?
Don't start. So if you don't have the what, I always say everybody already knows your why. The what is so important. And the people that are most successful, they have a really strong what. I had a kid, Colin Jacobs. I love him as an entrepreneur. He's 25. He's a Forbes 30 under 30. And he went to his Indiana local brewery when he turned 21. And he had like those giant 16-ounce beer cans. And he realized everybody wasn't drinking all the beer because it got warm. So he went ahead and got his what. He's like, I have my what. You will find your what. So what I would do is go ahead, be more interested than interesting, spend a minimum of 10 minutes a day paying attention to what you want in order to facilitate it, right? So what is it you want to help people? Where? Go find other organizations doing it, find mentorship. When you start paying attention, and even a minimum of 10 minutes a day, remember, 10 minutes a day is worth more than 10 hours on a Saturday. Because of the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious continuum, the way that data runs through our bodies, into our soul, into our quantum memory, our DNA, you need to do things consistently every day. Hopefully enjoy the persistent, consistent pursuit of those things. But when you start paying attention, those touches of favor and coincidences start happening. In other words, you're going to start seeing the what combined with the why. Then you can go ahead and get help to use discipline, strategy, and awareness to effectuate it. In other words, when you know your what, it's a possibility. When you combine it with the why, it's a probability. Only one thing stands in the way of your probability to reality. That's you and the help that you need. So in order to effectuate that, we need to have the right practices, the right disciplines, the right strategies, knowledge, the right skills, and of course, a desire that you must be what you can be. But none of it starts without doing the exploration of being more interested than interesting, of learning your what. So go out there, pay attention, and give intention to finding your what, and everything else will fall into place.
That's great advice. Real quick before we wrap up, we have another one here from Jesse. Best fitness at home advice. Any online companies we're all stuck in our homes. What I have some cables here to do some at home workouts. Do you have any tips for people on how to stay just like healthy and a general wellness at home? Going through these times that we can't really go to the gym and things like that.
Yeah, tons of great brands. Yeah. Really what I suggest you do, because they're so easy to find, and I don't want to exclude any of them. So here's what I do. A minimum of 1 hour a day, number one priority in my life on my health. That means I am paying attention to and giving intention to my health, a minimum of 1 hour a day. So if they told me, hey, you got to do the Entre event at 4:00, but I had only 4:00 to do, my cardio, to stretch, to do my balance, to meditate, to eat, to plan my food, whatever it is towards my health, all of them holistically combined, I would say no way, including my kids now. I put my health first, then my family, then activity I get paid for. Because I have learned that if you put your health behind your family or your activity you get paid for, you'll never focus on your health, because there's always time you want to spend with your family. It's always times you want to make more money too. So every day, my only piece of advice, and look, this is the best piece of advice. I sat on this extraordinary panel with the CEOs of Burger King, HBO, MTV, like these extraordinary people. And they said, a bunch of freshmen coming into college, what's the best piece of advice? And I gave them, enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. This woman from HBO, who I adore, she's like, find one thing you love to do that's exercise, and do it a minimum of an hour a day for the rest of your life. Find that one thing. And I'm like, oh, she's so much smarter than me, because my wife told me, and I'm going to end on this. When I made my recovery, and my wife was a catalyst for that, my mom and my wife, she gave me enlightenment and vision and support and love. She actually gave me hard love and told me the truth when I was lying to myself, and in a bad way, as a manipulator, a liar, overseller, and back-end seller. My wife literally straightened me up. So when I made it back, I said, what can I get you? Anything in the world. What can I do for you? And she said this, David, take care of yourself, because if you take care of yourself, I know you'll take care of others. So be kind to your future self, be healthy. I know everyone out there, the hundreds of people that are following these guys, everyone out there, if you take care of yourself, that will allow you to take care of others. So put your health first, a minimum of 1 hour a day. If you don't know what brands, go Google the best brands, go ask your friends. Everybody will have advice. In my opinion, it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you do. So go ahead and do it, and you will be happy, healthy, and strong. And that's what I wish for everyone, to share that with everyone, so that we can create a collective consciousness of happiness and abundance.
Love it. Hope everyone got that. That was incredible. Yeah, and I want to be respectful of Dave's time, so we're gonna let him go there. I'll stay on a bit just to answer some other questions if people have any questions for Entre. Click the link right here, the sign up for Dave's free training on Fridays. He's doing a lot of stuff, and please reach out to him, follow him, connect with him. He's an incredible guy. Drop some emojis in the chat for him to show him some love.
Watch my
thank
TikTok.
you, Dave, so much.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Yeah, be kind to your future self. Thank you.
David, thank you so much. Good seeing you. Take care.
Great.